Hello and welcome guys back to the Sonic Yoga YouTube channel. Today I'm going to lead you through a deep body stretch practice. So we're going to move a lot slower, hold poses for long periods of time, and use the strength of our breath to stay there. So you'll need 2 blocks for your practice. And we're going to start in a wide-legged child's pose. So swing your legs around and let's meet together. Draw the toes together, heels apart, and then melt your glutes towards your heels. Stretch your fingers out long and melt the forehead towards the ground. And let's start here, just giving yourself a few moments. And letting your body just feel heavy towards the ground. And trying to just check into the body, the mind, and the breath. And just noticing what you bring to your practice today. And let's begin to deepen the breath in and out of the nose. And together now let's make an intention to be connected to this breath throughout this deep stretch practice. And together take an inhale, see if you can stretch your arms just a little bit longer to the top of the mat. And then on your exhale, walk your hands way towards the right side of your mat. Hands can just land to the right, or you can step that left hand right on top of the right, and then begin to melt your heart, your glutes back down to the heels. And so as we draw a little bit of a side body stretch into the side of the left, can you draw your intention into the breath, into the left side rib cage? Deep breaths moving in and out. Feeling a little bit heavier with each exhale out. Two more big breaths. And then inhale, just lengthen through the spine a tiny little bit. Then exhale, walk yourself all the way now over towards the left. So hands can just land to the left, or if you want to get a little bit deeper, stretch that right arm, placing the right hand over left, and then melt the heart, the head down. Try and draw that right glute towards the right heel a little bit more. And now draw the intention of the breath into the right side rib cage. Expanding and compressing through that area with each breath in and each breath out. Take 2 more big breaths. And then inhale, lengthen through the heart, lift the head up. Exhale, walk yourself to center. Spread through the fingers just to draw yourself up to table pose. To grab your 2 blocks at the top of your mat. We're going to place them right close to our shoulders, shoulder distance apart, and I would say on the mid-configuration of those blocks. We're moving again into a child's pose type pose, but this time, just come to sit on your heels first. We're going to place our triceps on the top of that block. So sitting on your heels first, just stretch your arms away forward, release the triceps down on the block. And so from here, you can stay here with glutes towards the heels. heart can stay up, or you can sink any amount in between the shoulders. So as we're here, we're using the weight of the gravity to allow our shoulders to open a bit. And slowly letting the breath and the exhale draw you deeper. And so you can stay here with arms reaching forward, or draw two hands together in front of the head. And draw those prayer hands so they reach all the way back to land with thumbs in between your shoulder blades. Melting a bit deeper, getting a little bit more of a stretch into this tricep, the armpit area. Stay for 3 more breaths. And then inhale, reach those arms way forward. And then you can press into the blocks just to draw the hands back down and come back to your table pose. Move those blocks way forward. Let's come to sit on our glutes. And so from here, let's widen our legs out wide. And so give yourself a little wiggle side to side just to make sure you find the sitting bones. Flex the toes towards you. We're going to take the base of our hands here where the bottom of the wrist meets the top of the hand. Just begin to press onto the femur bones, moving the big muscles of the thighs around. You can give yourself this nice little self-massage. This may create a little bit of space here as we move into a deep stretch for the hips. Use your breath as you create this nice self-massage. You can hold or you can move and release those hands. Let's tent our fingers behind our back. And then you can even press into the hands. See if that created a little more space that we can draw our hips a little bit more forward. Get a little bit deeper into the stretch. And so notice how this feels right here. This may be enough. Or if you want to move a little bit deeper, just walk the hands towards the inner thighs. Then we're going to use the support of hands and a long straight spine to slowly begin to come down. So again, use this exhale, use gravity to slowly find a space where you can stay. And then you can come to forearms, you can come to hands, pausing in a space that feels comfortable for you. Keep the toes flexing towards you, and then try and draw the shoulders down the back. And then once you find a place to stay, can you close down through the eyes and focus on that breath? Keep it moving deeply in and out. And you may notice with each exhale, maybe you can draw a little deeper. Arms can reach even further forward. You can imagine someday your chest coming all the way to the ground. But maybe that won't happen today. Big breaths in and out. And let's stay for 2 more breaths. And if the hands have turned up like mine, you can place them back on the ground and then use the support of hands and core to come all the way back up. Ooh, that felt nice, eh? From here, let's draw our right leg in and draw the sole of the right foot towards the inner thigh of the left. So we're going to work on another side body stretch. So we're going to start with our left hand going all the way down our left leg towards the shin bone. From here, we're going to inhale, reach the right arm up and over towards that left foot any amount. So create a nice C curve through the body over here on the right. And try and lift the heart up over towards the ceiling, towards the sky, wherever you are. If it's uncomfortable for the head, feel free to drop it and gaze towards the ground. Or you can always use that top hand to support that head. And once you find a space to be comfortable, you can close the eyes and use the breath to move deeper. And so it's interesting to notice as we hold a pose, sometimes we can move a little bit deeper as we breathe out. So you can find that forearm down on the ground if it feels comfortable. Big, beautiful C curve through the body. Reach, reach, reach with that right hand. And draw big breaths into the right side rib cage. Two more big breaths to stay. And use your big breath in to come all the way up. Use the core. Draw all the way up. Big inhale. And full exhale. Let's try the other side. Let's lengthen the right leg out long. And then draw now the left leg in towards the inner thigh of the right. And so we draw that right hand towards the inner part of that front shin on the right. And try and twist your heart a little open to the left. Reach the left arm up towards the sky with an inhale. And then exhale, you can reach towards the right any amount. Beautiful, nice C curve through the spine here. Head goes wherever is comfortable, looking up, or draw that head towards the right shoulder for a little more relaxed part type of stretch. Feeling free to grab hold again of that head if it needs some support from the hand. And again, when we find a comfortable space where we can stay, can you close the eyes and soften? And use the exhale to move a little deeper, maybe coming to that forearm. Big breaths moving in and out. Use the inhale to come all the way up. Ooh, and exhale to let that go. Great job, guys. Let's grab both legs, draw them in, move the feet to one side. We're going to find our first downward facing dog of our practice. So spread our fingers nice and wide. Grip down through the pads of the fingers, tuck the toes, lift up and back to your downward facing dog. So micro bends through those knees, melt the heart towards the thighs, and let your head be heavy. In an inhale, you can reach the right leg up any amount. And on the exhale, you're going to draw your right knee towards your right wrist across the mat. Release the leg down so that you are trying to draw a diagonal line with the shin bone of the right. So the foot of the right is trying to reach over to the left any amount. So we're coming for our pigeon pose. So just notice here, if you have a lot of space underneath the right glute, you could grab a block and place it underneath the glute to make sure that your hips are level. If that's too big, you could place a blanket, a bolster, a pillow. And then from here, making sure you feel comfortable through the hips, because we are going to try and hold this for a nice period of time. Take an inhale, reach the heart high, and then exhale, fold forward to the chest any amount. So we're coming down. Start with your forearms. And we'll stay here. Notice how it feels through the hips. If you feel like this is where you want to stay, great supports are to place a block underneath the forehead to just support the weight of the head. Different variations of heights of the block could support you in different ways. So find if that's the place you want to stay, you can stay. Another option is to take that block and place it underneath your chest. If you can move a little deeper, and then you can release the heart down, head down, and then draw a hand upon a hand to support the forehead. So as you're here, relax through the shoulders. Release through the muscles of the hips and notice if you're kind of clenching any muscles in the legs. Try and let that go. Focus on the breath, especially through the exhale of the breath. And again, like the other poses, you can notice if as we sit in time in this pose, we can move a bit deeper. You can even let go of blocks and see if you can fold forward any amount, just a little bit deeper. Moving into another variation that I might have chosen. And let's stay for 3 more breaths. Let gravity and let the exhale just let you melt. Together, take 1 more big breath in. And 1 more big breath out. And then plant the hands, come all the way back up. Plant the hands under the shoulders. And then walk up to your hands. From here, spread the fingers wide. Tuck the toe behind you. Just to press into the foot to bring your back knee in a little bit closer. Let's swing this right leg around for child's pose. And just send your hips towards your heels. Take 1 breath in child's pose. Big inhale. And then full exhale. And then draw yourself forward to table. Spread the fingers wide so we can tuck the toes. Lift the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Big inhale. And full exhale. Inhale, lift the left leg high. Exhale, draw the knee towards the left wrist and draw the left foot across towards the right. We'll lower the back knee down and begin to stretch the back leg out any amount so it's nice and straight. So again, check into the hips here and notice if you have a hip high off of the ground, place that block, that pillow right underneath your glute. If you find you have no space and that it can kind of just sit there, you can stay there as well. And then from here, start with the chest forward, big inhale. And then exhale, slowly lower down first to those forearms. Draw the shoulders down the back and just notice how the body feels here. If you want to stay here, grab that other block to create that support for your forehead so you can relax through the neck. And then options to move deeper is lowering the block. Place the block under the chest, or if you can come all the way down to the ground, go for that. Release down, potentially you do hand upon a hand for forehead. And then close the eyes and soften into a space you can stay. And draw back to those deep breaths moving in and out. Letting gravity, letting the exhale draw you a little deeper. And if your mind begins to wander, see if you can just let it draw back to the breath. As we take 3 more breaths here. And slow inhale, just draw the head up a little. Place the hands underneath shoulders to press your heart up. Move your blocks out of the way. And then tuck your back toe just to draw that back knee a little bit closer. 2 hands on the ground to draw back to table pose. Let's just move the hips side to side to let that go. Then move the feet to one side just to come to seated. So for our last pose of our practice, we're going to draw into a supported fish pose. So we're going to draw our 2 blocks. One block at the back of the mat for our head. It can be on a lower level or a mid-level. Then I would place our second block probably on the lowest level, maybe mid-level, about a foot away from that place, because we're finding right between the shoulder blades around the bra strap line. So once our blocks are released to the floor, draw your hips and feet forward. Then we're going to slowly lower onto our forearms. So as we lower to our forearms, we can reach around for this block. Make sure it's around a bra strap line. Not saying we're all wearing bras. You can lower your shoulder blades and upper back towards that block. Release one hand towards the head, just to release the head towards that back block. You can stretch your legs out long if it feels good, and then place your arms towards the sides. Let the shoulders flop open so you can take the arms out wide or close, and then close the eyes. And so you may notice for a couple seconds that maybe you want to move deeper, moving one block or the other. If you do any movements, just make sure you use the supportive hand to draw your chin towards your chest, and then moving the blocks and coming back down. Take your time to find a really supportive place to stay. And close the eyes and draw back to that breath. And allowing yourself time here to be able to just gently take a scan of the body, to notice muscles, areas of the body you can release tension from. Drawing deep intention to the exhale of your breath. Let it be heavy. Give yourself 3 more long inhalations and exhalations in this pose. And take an inhale through your nose. And exhale through your open mouth. Try that again. Inhale. And exhale. So if it feels good for you to stay in this pose longer, do what is best for you. I'm just going to guide you through the safe way to come out of this pose. So draw the right hand towards the back of the head. So you can use the strength of the hand and arm to draw the head in towards the chest. As we do that, we're gently Gonna roll towards our right side. Place the left hand down so you can come into a fetal pose type pose. Come all the way to the ground, placing the head on the arm of the right. You can reach around with that left hand to move your 2 blocks out of the way. And then we're going to roll all the way onto our back. Taking a moment to do anything you need, moving knees side to side, drawing knees to chest. And then as you feel ready, straighten the legs out long, allow the pinky toes to fall heavy. And then place one hand on the belly and one hand on the heart. Close down through the eyes. Soften even more. And so after this deep, long stretch and these deep, long holds, can you soften into stillness? Give yourself space to just be. And so thank you so much for practicing with me today. Namaste.